My own parents labeled me a misfortune and blamed me for every failure in their lives. If you've ever been the family scapegoat, blamed for things you didn't do, hit that like button and subscribe to hear how I witnessed their downfall. My name is Arthur. For as long as I can remember, I was not considered a son to my parents. I was seen as a living bad sign. In my family, reason didn't matter. It was all about luck, feelings, and fate. My father, George, was a high-risk investor who made his fortune on bold bets. My mother, Beatrice, was fixated on status and looks. They thought some people were born lucky, while others had bad luck from the start. My older brother, Caleb, was the favored one, born on July 7, 77. My parents took that as a divine sign. He could do no wrong. If Caleb failed a test, it was the teacher's fault. If he crashed his car, it was a mechanical issue. I was born on a Friday the 13th, which was my first sin. From the moment I could walk, everything that went wrong at home was blamed on me. If the milk spoiled, it was because of my negative vibes. If the stock market dropped, my father would yell at me, asking why I was sulking and ruining the household mood. I learned to be unseen. I discovered that if I laughed too much, I'd be scolded for being overly excited. If I was too quiet, I was suspected of scheming. There was no way to win. One specific moment stands out. I was 16, and my father had a major business deal. He made me sit in the garage during his dinner with clients because he didn't want my bad luck to affect the handshake. I sat in the cold garage for 4 hours. The deal fell apart anyway. When the clients left, my father stormed into the garage, red-faced and smelling of whiskey. "You were thinking about it, weren't you?" he shouted, grabbing my shoulder. "You were hoping I'd fail. Your jealousy seeped through the walls." I didn't do anything wrong. I cried. I was just doing homework. "You are a curse, Arthur," he spat. "Everything you touch turns to dust." I believed him. When you hear something every day for 18 years, it becomes your reality. I thought I really was cursed. I was scared to make friends because I thought I'd hurt them. I hesitated to apply for colleges, fearing I'd destroy the campus. The final blow came on my 21st birthday. I was working part-time at a library, the only place that felt safe because it was quiet. I came home to find my suitcases on the front lawn. It was raining, and my clothes were soaked. My mother stood on the porch, holding an umbrella over Caleb. They both looked at me with cold, lifeless eyes. "What's happening?" I asked, shivering. "We consulted a spiritual advisor today," my mother said, her calm voice making it all the more frightening. She confirmed what we've always known. "You are a burden, Arthur. Your aura is dark. You're blocking Caleb's future. He's been trying to launch his startup for a year, and it keeps failing. It's you. You're the problem. So you're kicking me out?" I asked. "I have nowhere to go." "You're 21, my father said, stepping outside. "Figure it out. You can't stay under this roof again. We need to cleanse this house. If I leave," I said, an unfamiliar anger rising in my chest, "I'm never coming back. Whatever happens to you is on you." Caleb laughed. "Oh, don't worry, little brother. Once you're gone, things will get better. I'll be rich by Christmas." "Go," my father ordered. "Take your bad luck with you." I grabbed my wet suitcases and dragged them down the driveway, not looking back. I felt nauseous. I had $200 in my pocket and no car. I took a bus to the next city and slept in a shelter for a week until I found a cheap basement room. I got a job as a night janitor in an office. I waited for disaster to strike. I expected the vacuum to break or the building to catch fire, but nothing happened. In fact, life became quiet and calm. I started to notice something unusual at work. I was good at fixing things. If a door squeaked, I fixed it. If a pipe leaked, I patched it. After spending my life avoiding disasters at home, I became very aware of small problems before they turned into big issues. My boss noticed. "Arthur, you have a real talent for details," he told me one night. "You spotted that electrical short before it damaged the server room. You saved us a lot of money." He promoted me to facilities manager and paid for my safety inspection certification. 3 years passed. I wasn't cursed, I was skilled and careful. I realized my parents' lives hadn't been sustained by good fortune, it was me holding everything together. I was the one who always checked that the oven was off. I was the one who reminded my father where his keys were. I was the one who double-checked the locks at night. I was the invisible force that kept their chaotic, irresponsible lives from falling apart, and they had resented me for it. I was doing well. I had my own apartment, a decent car, and savings. I blocked my family on everything. Then I saw the news. While scrolling through a business site, I saw my father's picture. The headline read, "Real estate mogul George Miller charged with serious safety violations." I clicked on the article. It explained how 3 of his apartment buildings had been condemned due to structural failures. Apparently, he had been skipping inspections and using cheap materials for years. I dug deeper and discovered that Caleb's startup had been sued for fraud. He had taken investor money and spent it on parties, claiming the universe would provide the product. It didn't. 2 days later, I received an email from my mother. It bypassed my spam filter because she used a new address. Subject, please read. Emergency, Arthur, we don't know where you are, but we need you. The house is falling apart. Literally, the foundation cracked last month, and the insurance won't cover it. Your father is in trouble, and Caleb is struggling. We feel a dark presence in the house. We think the consultant was wrong. Maybe you weren't the curse, maybe you were the only one keeping the darkness away. Please come home. We need your energy. I deleted the email. A week later, they showed up at my job. I don't know how they found me, maybe a private investigator. I was in the lobby of the building I managed, wearing a suit and talking to a contractor. Arthur. I turned around. My parents looked terrible. My father, usually impeccably dressed, looked disheveled. His shirt was wrinkled. My mother looked thin and frantic. Caleb wasn't with them. You can't be in here, I said, stepping forward. This is a private building. Arthur, look at you, my mother said, reaching out to touch my arm. I stepped back. You look successful. I am, I replied. Turns out when I'm not being told I'm a curse, I do quite well. We made a mistake, my father said, his voice hoarse. He didn't sound like the arrogant man I remembered, he sounded desperate. Since you left, it's been hell. Everything broke. The pipes burst. The cars keep failing. I lost the big contract. It's like the world turned against us. That's not bad luck, Dad, I said coldly. That's just life. Things break. You have to maintain them. You have to pay attention. You never did. You just depended on luck. We need you to come back, my mother pleaded. We'll give you your old room back. You can eat with us. I almost laughed. You think I want my old room? I have a condo overlooking the river. I have a life. We are your family, my father shouted, catching the receptionist's attention. You owe us. We raised you. You abused me, I corrected him. You called me a curse. You kicked me out in the rain with nothing. We were misguided, my mother cried. But we know the truth now. You are the shield. That's what the new psychic said. You absorb the chaos. You have to return, Arthur. If you don't, we'll lose the house. We'll lose everything. I can help you, I said. Their faces brightened. Really? Dad asked. Yes. I'm a certified safety and structural inspector now. It's my job. I can assess the house and tell you exactly what needs fixing to save it. Oh, thank goodness, Mom said. Thank you, Arthur. I always knew you were a good boy. I charge $200 an hour, I replied. Consulting fee paid in advance. My father's face turned red. You would charge your own father. I'm not your son, remember? I'm a curse, and curses are costly. They had no choice but to agree. I drove out to the old house the next day. It was shocking. The lawn was dead, the paint was peeling, it looked like a haunted house. I walked through the rooms with my clipboard. It was worse than I expected. The roof was leaking, causing mold in the walls. The foundation had shifted because of a drainage issue I pointed out when I was 15, which they had ignored because I was being negative. The wiring was a fire hazard. Caleb was on the couch, looking hungover. He glared at me but said nothing. I spent 4 hours inspecting the place. My parents followed me around like eager puppies, waiting for me to perform magic. At the end, I sat them down at the kitchen table. Well, Dad asked, can you fix it? The house is structurally unsound, I said, tapping my pen on the table. The repairs will cost about $400,000. $400,000. Dad shouted. We don't have that. The lawyers took everything. Then you have a problem, I said calmly. Because the city will condemn this property in about 2 weeks once they see the mold report I have to file. You can't, Mom gasped. You could just not submit it. I could lose my license, I lied. I have to file it. But here's the situation, you're broke, and you're sitting on a liability. But I'm an investor now. I buy distressed properties. They stared at me. I'll buy the house from you, I said. Buy it? Dad asked suspiciously. For how much? The amount of the outstanding mortgage, I replied, plus $10,000 cash for you to move. That's robbery, Caleb yelled from the living room. This house is worth $2 million. Not in this condition, I said. In this state, it's worth the land value minus demolition costs. Actually, I'm doing you a favor. If the bank forecloses, you get nothing and ruin your credit even more. If I buy it, you walk away with $10,000. My father looked at me with pure hatred, but he knew he was trapped. You planned this, he hissed. You caused this. You used your black magic to rot this house so you could steal it. It's not magic, Dad, I said, standing up. It's water damage. It happens when you don't clean the gutters. I used to clean the gutters, remember? But you kicked me out. They signed the papers 3 days later. They had no other choice. The bank was calling every hour. I took possession of the house on a Monday. My parents and Caleb moved into a small 2-bedroom apartment in a rough part of town. I stood in the empty living room of my childhood home. It smelled like decay and expensive perfume. I didn't move in. I didn't want to live there. I hired a crew to renovate. We gutted the place, tearing down the walls where I used to hide, ripping up the carpets where I'd sit and cry. I renovated the entire house. I fixed the foundation, replaced the roof, and turned it into a modern, beautiful, structurally sound mansion. It took 6 months. When it was finished, it was worth $3 million. I put it on the market. My mother called me the day the for sale sign went up. Arthur, she said, sounding tired and broken. We saw the listing. The house looks beautiful. It is, I replied. It just needed some attention from someone who cared. We were thinking, she said, her voice trembling with pathetic hope, since you fixed it up, maybe we could move back in and pay you rent once Caleb gets a job. It's our home, Arthur. It's where we raised you. Mom, I said, I already sold it. What? I accepted an offer this morning from a nice young family. They don't believe in curses, they just wanted a safe home. But the money, she stammered. You made millions. Surely, you can share some with us. We're destitute. Arthur, your father is working at a car wash. I'm cleaning houses. It's humiliating. I thought you said hard work was for those without luck, I replied. Please, she sobbed. We are your parents. I know, I said. And I learned a lot from you. I learned not to invest in bad assets, and that you have to cut off the dead weight to succeed. You are evil, she whispered. You really are a curse. Maybe, I replied, but I'm a wealthy curse, and you're just broke. I hung up. I used the profits from the house to start my own property management company, calling it Friday the 13th Holdings. I see my brother sometimes, he works at a gas station near my office. He looks older and angry. The last time I pulled in for gas, he saw my car and me in the driver's seat. He didn't say a word, just looked at the ground. He finally learned the lesson I grasped the night they kicked me out. There's no such thing as luck, only cause and effect. They created their own downfall, and I was just the consequence. Honestly, watching them crumble wasn't tragic, it was the most satisfying project of my life.